No intros today, no introductions and stuff. Fuck this shit. Today's topic is pretty important, I'd say. It's the most effective tactic in life. I did this thought experiment. I was thinking about what's the best way, what's the most effective way to live a life. And I think I found a solution. First of all, how do I judge the best way? First, obviously, you should have money, because money is everything in our human society. You need money to live, you need money to do fun stuff, you need money to improve the world, you need money for everything, so you need money. Second, you need an ability to do something important, to have an impact, to leave your mark in history. So this framework I developed, I mean, it's not like I developed it, but this framework I noticed that other people do has these two things in it. And as I promised in the title, there is a historical example I'll tell you. This historical example is the example we see in a lot of rich dynasties. One of those dynasties, one of the most interesting ones, is the Rothschild dynasty. The Rothschild dynasty was started by one man. This man had 4 sons. He sent each son to a big financial center in Europe. I don't remember the names of the actual cities, but it's not important. What's important is that each one of them created their own bank. So there were 4 banks in different towns in Europe. That was like 300 years ago. And what they started doing is that they did not start to compete between each other. They started to compete with other people, combining their resources. And eventually, their bank empire grew so big that they basically outcompeted everyone. That was the start of the Rothschild empire, of the Rothschild dynasty, that still exists today. There is still the Rothschild family right now, and it's still so fucking rich, it's just unbelievable. And not only rich, but also influential. You see where I'm going with this? The most effective way to live is the modern interpretation of this strategy. Let's start with the money part. First of all, you need to make shit tons of money. The best way to do this right now is through the internet. You make a digital product and you sell it to as many people as possible. The advantages of the digital product are insane because you are using math. You are leveraging math to your advantage because you have an unlimited amount, unlimited supply of a single digital product that you produce. For instance, you make a YouTube video and it doesn't matter how many people watch it, it will not disappear. Or you make a course and it doesn't matter how many people buy this course, it will not disappear. That's why that's the most effective tactic to make money right now, selling a digital product. Now, after you sell your digital product and make a lot of money, you need to leverage your family ties to amplify your success. For instance, you can hire members of your family to work for you, or you can help them to make something similar and also make a lot of money. The most important thing is that you must not be a competitor to them. It's supposed to be like you together are a competition for everybody else. Because it doesn't really matter who succeeds, you or your brother or your sister, whoever else is in your family business. As long as either one of you succeed, you all succeed. And that will make you even more money. But now, what do you do with all this money? How do you actually do anything important? Change the world? And that is by building a dynasty. A dynasty is basically a community of people united by the family ties who are doing something together, like influencing politics or building a business, running a non-commercial organization, something like this. Now, the way all the dynasties did this previously is by spoken tradition. A father passes some information to his kids, then they pass it to their kids, and so on. But as you can guess, spoken tradition is not really the most effective way. Now, what's much more effective is the written tradition. Because think about it, there is a Bible. A Bible is literally a written tradition, and it survived for more than 2000 years. There are other religious texts that are also ancient and survive for insane amounts of time. There are folk tales that survive for insane amounts of time. That's why you need to leverage written traditions to make a dynasty. The way it works, the way I imagine it works, because obviously I didn't do it myself yet, but the way I imagine it works is you need to create a rule book or something like this, where you outline all your ideas, all your thoughts, all your knowledge, and the reasons for all of that. You need to basically explain in this book what I just told you, so that your future generations actually see the value in following your book. That way, when somebody is born into your dynasty, they don't have to learn it from other people or from scratch. They can just open a book and learn everything from there. Now, the reason why you need to create a dynasty is because a dynasty is the best way to make an impact on the world. For instance, the dynasty mentioned above, the Rothschilds, they're influencing a lot of stuff. They're investing money in a lot of different things. You can actually Google it and figure out what they're investing in. But they are actively changing and influencing the world because they have a lot of money and they have a lot of people to earn this money. But even if we are talking about purely your life, something purely within your lifespan, it is still profitable to have a dynasty. Because think about it, something like a yacht costs about, let's say, $100 million. It will take some insane amount of effort and time to make $100 million yourself. And then what? You will not use this yacht most of the time, but you will also have to spend money for maintenance. Now imagine you have 20 family members who are also making shit tons of money, and they also need a yacht, but they will also not be using it constantly, and they will also have to spend money for maintenance. It is much better to have one yacht for everyone than to get each single person a separate one. Most likely, if you will have to pay $100 million for a yacht and then regularly pay for the maintenance, and you will also use it one time a year, you will just not buy it at all. But this system I'm describing allows you to actually buy pretty much anything. Again, provided that each person in your dynasty actually makes a lot of money, but that's your responsibility to achieve. That's your responsibility to help them. And that's actually another benefit of this system. When you are personally benefiting from how much people in your family make, you will want them to make more money, which means that you will have to teach them something. And those who know more than you will have to teach you something, because they also want the results of your money making. And so what we have as the end result is a system where everybody born into your dynasty automatically gets a lot of information, a lot of knowledge to actually be successful in life. Anyway, I don't think there's much more to say about that. That was a quick, spontaneous, off-schedule video. If you like this format of me just speaking my thoughts without any preparation, then write in the comments. I'll make more of these videos. Thank you for watching. I see you in the next one.